What is going on, everybody? ZyoniK here, and in today's video we have a very strong triple water team submitted to the channel by a member of the community, Super Shadow number 0. Now, there was a couple notes with this submission. Firstly, they used this team at Legend last season, going 45-5 as their record with this team, and they're currently 10-0 when they submitted this and asked if I could hold off shoutcasting these battles until today, which is why you guys are seeing it now. Lapras, Gyarados, and Politoed, triple water in open Ultra League, which is a place you don't commonly see. Maybe Ampharos. I mean, granted, maybe a bit more this season, but we'll have to see what these battles showcase. But this team looks incredibly strong, and if you can master it, it can gain you a lot of rating. All right, getting into the first battle here, we have Lapras on the lead versus Virizion. Okay, Lapras does have access to Ice Shard, which is doing super effective damage, but in this situation, I imagine the Virizion is going to be taking over. We got the double kick fast move damage, we got the Leaf Blade or Sacred Sword spam, and Leaf Blade right here is looking to do the most damage. Now here comes another charge move, and they're deciding to stay in with the Lapras, and maybe looking to go for the double surf right here. Yeah, they're looking to go for double surf. They can threaten now with Skull Bash, which means they might get a shield, and then do some extra chip damage with one more surf, which is what they're looking to do, but the opponent swaps out. And the opponent makes a great play right there, realizing that maybe there's 3 water type Pokemon on this team. So we're going to see Politoed now come into this matchup. They don't have Earthquake on this Politoed. Earthquake is a legacy move. They instead have Blizzard, and we are going to be seeing the Focus Blast come through there. So thankfully that wasn't a Zap Cannon, but maybe a good read on the energy from this battler. Now they're going to go ahead and go for Weather Balls right here. This is still going to apply a lot of pressure to Registeel because they can spam 2 more, which means they might be able to get a final shield. Now, just because Virizion is a grass type and has access to Leaf Blade doesn't mean it can fully sweep this team. There is a Shadow Gyarados back there with Dragon Breath, which I'm guessing if it has a shield, it can do very well. Next Weather Ball comes through, takes out Registeel. Now we are going to see the Virizion come in, and this is where Politoed is absolutely deadly and is actually making me want to play Politoed in the Great League next time. That's where mine is at currently, because of the Weather Ball spam. It is beautiful. Now, we do see the Leaf Blade coming through, so Politoed's going to go ahead and let it go, and this is where I was talking about the Gyarados with Dragon Breath can farm down right here. It only takes neutral from Leaf Blade, and depending on what Pokemon they have in the back, it might be a very big win con. So, they let the Leaf Blade go through. Final Pokemon is a Swampert. Okay, this is looking to be a very close game now. Aqua Tail, Crunch, both doing neutral damage, and they just need to watch out. I mean, Hydro Cannons are going to hurt a lot if they do land, so we might have to see a sack swap here. Here comes the first Crunch. Maybe the opponent thinks it's going to be an Aqua Tail shield bait, but let's see how this plays out. They do get a shield defense drop as well, which is huge, and if they can survive this Hydro Cannon, this is now going to be a very close game. They swap out into Lapras at the last second. Are they going to get farmed down? Okay, they're going for Aqua Tail now, and they win CMP tie. So is this going to be enough damage? They still have the Virizion to try to take down. It is enough. Virizion has resisted moves, and Gyarados takes it right there with Dragon Breath with literally 1 HP in a dream. That was game 1. Lapras on the lead versus Registeel now. Again, I was saying Ampharos earlier. I completely forgot about Registeel. This is going to be an extremely common Pokemon that they have to take down. Zap Cannon basically one-shots this whole team. So, seeing if they can handle this Registeel is going to show just how strong this team can be. All right. Let's see how this plays out. Now, if you guys don't have Politoed, maybe try your Swamperts in that position, or maybe Poliwrath potentially in that situation. The ice water coverage right there, right? Scald, an Ice Punch, or Dynamic Punch and Ice Punch, I think could be a good swap out. But let's see how this plays. Okay, are they going to go up for another shield? No, they're going to let it go through. And it is going to be the Zap Cannon right there. So not enough damage to take out the Lapras, which is great because that means they might just be able to get to 2 more Surfs. This one being one of them. And then the second Surf might just force that final shield. Now, considering they only had to give up 1 shield here on Lapras to get the Registeel all the way into the red is very strong for them. And they now need to be careful because the opponent swapped out into Alolan Ninetales. That is Charm as well. because that Registeel has energy loaded, which means it's probably going to be able to get off one more Zap Cannon, so they need to make sure they save a shield for it, which is, again, this is going to come down to Shadow Dragon Breath Gyarados to close this game out. Now, this Politoed needs to get rid of this Alolan Ninetales, and that was a good hold on energy right there, knowing that the Weather Ball from the Alolan Ninetales was going to be resistant. Now, Weather Balls can come in a lot of different varieties of damage. The Alolan Ninetales has the ice, the Politoed here has the water. It just doesn't mean that all Weather Balls are water, right? So we are going to see another one land right there, and they're getting the Alolan Ninetales out. Oh, simultaneous KO. Okay, well, obviously the Gyarados has to be the Pokemon that comes in right here. They have a Lapras for a sack swap. Let's see how this plays out. It's another Swampert in the back, so this is, again, going to be a nail biter. Hydro Cannon does do quite a bit of resisted damage, even though it's resisted, right? The typings, look at that. That is chunking. Now they swap out and catch the charge move on Lapras. What a huge catch right there, as the Zap Cannon will take it out. And now Gyarados is sitting in a very good position. They can fully farm down. They have Aqua Tails. They have Crunch. This Swampert is going nowhere because they still have a shield as well. So safely going for the double Crunch right here to close the game out. And yeah, that's going to be a good one. So Gyarados once again sweeping this game right here with the assistance from Politoed and Lapras in order to make it happen. And they are going, that was 2 Registeels they just went off against. All right, moving to the next one, we got a Machamp on the lead. So a very tough lead right here, and you can see them swapping straight away into Politoed. Now we see a Jellicent come in. This is a very hard situation for them because sometimes Politoeds, if they have Earthquake, can at least hit neutral damage here against Jellicent, but they did exactly what they needed to right there. We saw the Weather Ball go through and get shielded, but they built up to the potential Earthquake and then through the Weather Ball getting a shield because this Politoed does not have Earthquake, but that doesn't mean you can't threaten shields with the potential Earthquake, right? So the best case scenario right here for them is to go for as many Weather Balls as possible and maybe look to delay the switch clock. If they get a second shield, wow, okay, that is huge. Politoed definitely took full advantage of this situation, and now they can just fire off these Weather Balls. And there we go. They took advantage of the switch clock. What is this doing for them? This means that even though Machamp is now locked into Lapras and they will take super effective damage from the cross chops, they will be able to soften up the Machamp right here with the Surf and Ice Shards, and then Gyarados can once again come in and farm down with Dragon Breath, have 2 shields ready to go. They got Crunch for the Jellicent, and we don't know what that final Pokemon is, but if it's another Swampert, no, in this case it's Galarian Stunfisk. This is going to be a very interesting endgame. Remember, Politoed still has multiple, I think at least 1.5 Weather Balls left, so they have to be very careful about the opponent catching the Aqua Tail on the Jellicent. So this is going to be a very close game as they are forced to shield Rock Slides now. Here we go. They might swap out. Politoed swap out? Yes, the Politoed swap out into the Weather Ball. Perfectly timed right here, as this is going to be doing super effective damage, taking out the Galarian Stunfisk, and now Jellicent is going to surrender, and that is going to be a good game. So that game definitely, if the opponent knew that there was no Earthquake, that definitely... Oh, a Magneton. Wow. Okay, this is definitely a very tough situation for them right here. They're doing similar to what they did against Registeel. They're going straight Surfs and Ice Shards, sacking the Lapras right here, getting themselves shield advantage as much as they can, but these discharges are going to hurt. I'm scared to watch. Oh my goodness. Thankfully, Lapras is so tanky that it can survive one. I thought that might have one-shot it right there. But here comes the second one. Are they going to let this go? No, they're going to go ahead and shield, and it was just a Magnet Bomb right there, hoping to get off this Surf because they need to get this Magneton lower. It's at a place right now where if this Surf lands, which it doesn't, it gets a shield actually. They now swap out into Politoed. The Politoed can get to the Weather Ball, and now this is going to be a very deadly endgame because all shields are down. They let the discharge go through, trusting in Gyarados to sweep once again. That seems to be the play of this team. Lapras is a setup, Politoed is a setup, and Gyarados is the sweep, and it's once again another Swampert. I mean, to be fair, Swampert is very strong. That's why we see it in the Open Ultra League a lot and in the Premier Cup Classic. So we are just going to see it probably try to commit to the farm down right here, because if they can get oh no, they decided to throw. If they could tank 2 weather balls and fully farm down, that would have been a very dangerous situation. But in this case, they decided to throw the Hydro Cannon. We are now in the same situation we have been in Game 1, Game 2, now in Game 3. You have a Gyarados with a shield and a Lapras for a sack swap. So they're going to go ahead and swap into Lapras now, trying to force that energy. And we do see a swap out into Grand Ball, and at the perfect time. I mean, the perfect time for this battler, but not the perfect time for the opponent, because they got the Surf through, which is crazy. That shouldn't have happened if the Grand Ball came in right away. But thankfully, they can easily, they're going to let that crunch go through. I think the charge move they're going to feel, oh, it's a Snarl. That is why it survived. Okay, I thought a Charm wasn't enough to KO the Lapras, but it's because it's Snarl Grand Ball instead of Charm. So this is looking to be a very close one. 1 Hydro Cannon, I think, is enough. So they're going to go ahead and let it go. No, they survive! And they now are going to be able to shield, but I don't think Swampert has it doesn't have a 3rd Hydro Cannon. That's impossible to have. So Gyarados should take it right here with Aqua Tail, and that is going to be a good game, very well played. Once again, dancing a fine line right here with Gyarados facing off against Registeels, Virizions, Magnetons. They're doing a great job. All right, now we got a Tentacruel here on the lead. Another tough Pokemon to deal with, but thankfully they do have the Skull Bash in this situation to do a lot of neutral damage and boost those defenses. Now, they got to watch out for the Sludge Wave. It can do a lot of damage in this situation, but they're going to go ahead and let it go. Yeah, it was the Sludge Wave, so that is a good amount of damage, and we do see a swap out now into Trevenant. Oh, and it caught the Skull Bash. This is heavily resisted right here, and that is a very tough situation to be in, because how many times have I said situation in this video? I'm sure someone's already made it in the comments. What usually happens, if you guys notice, I get hooked on a word and then I say it like 30 times throughout a shoutcast, but that's okay. They're going to go ahead and shield the Shadow Ball. Thankfully, that was a Shadow Ball, and they can now farm down. I thought maybe 2 Seed Bombs were going to potentially come through, but now we see a Steelix come in. Okay, very interesting, as Aqua Tails are going to be doing super effective damage, and they still have the Politoed to try to close this game out. And they do get the first shield right there. Now, here comes the first charge move from Steelix. They're going to go ahead and let it go. I think it's going to be the Crunch. No, it's the Psychic Fangs right there. Okay, so wanting to drop that defense, but because it wasn't the raw damage maybe from Crunch, or maybe they're running with Earthquake Psychic Fangs, they get 2 shields. Okay. Another Aqua Tail should be able to land. No, they're forced to throw. So we're going to see a Politoed sweep right here, as the Psychic Fangs take out the Gyarados. And once again, saving Lapras with 1 HP for a sacrificial swap. And now Politoed is going to go ahead and come in and close this game out, as Weather Ball is going to be doing super effective damage. But they decide to catch the charge move on Lapras right here, which is huge. That is now, oh, I love shield swaps like that. Now, unfortunately for them, they don't have Earthquake. This would have been a very good situation to have Earthquake in, but the Blizzard, I think, is more needed for the potential Giratina Altereds that you guys will see. A lot of maybe Grass-type Pokemon like Virizion that we see in their Blizzard covers a bit more. Now, they successfully shield the Sludge Wave as well, so this game is not over. They have to go for another Blizzard here, so now it's going to be Steelix versus Politoed, Mudshot, and Weather Ball versus Dragon Tail and Psychic Fangs, and this is going to be a close one. It's going to need 2 Weather Balls, I believe, to take out the Steelix, as it is doing super effective damage. Yeah, definitely needs 2 right there. And now this is going to be, oh, Politoed able to get it. So unfortunately, the Steelix did not throw the Psychic Fangs right away, or maybe they were trying to build up to the Earthquake to try to KO, but Politoed takes the sweep. All right. Moving into the next one, we got Lapras on the lead versus Swampert now this time. Double Shadow right here on the lead. And this is a much better situation for Lapras, where they are applying a lot of neutral pressure right here with Ice Shards and Surf, which means they might be able to come out of this situation with shield advantage. Which really they haven't been able to do out of a lot of the games. They've always had to give up a shield on Lapras, whether that was on the Registeel or the Magneton. They were having to try to break even the field in that situation. I said it again. All right. We're going to see the Hydro Cannon land, and then now we're going to see the Politoed come in and load up on energy, and we see a swap out into Defense Form Deoxys. So Gyarados is going to go ahead and come in right here. Now, this is a dangerous matchup not a situation. Dangerous matchup where both Pokemon are doing super effective damage to each other with their charge moves. And with 2 shields on the field, I think Gyarados still takes it here, but it's gonna be very, very close as the crunches are not enough to one-shot, but if they get those defense drops, then they definitely will be. Now, I just want to make sure. I think I have the, yeah, okay, we're okay. Yeah, they shield the next Thunderbolt. And now it's all going to be about the bait right here with Aqua Tail. If they can get that final shield from Defense Form Deoxys, they should be able to throw the crunch. Yes, they do get the bait. And now they're going to go ahead and go for another Aqua Tail, which is not going to be enough to KO, which means Defense Form Deoxys, Defense Form Deoxys is going to be... Oh, no, they swap into the Politoed. They had energy loaded, which is perfect. This is definitely going to be enough to take it out. And there is going to be a Giratina altered in the back, and this Politoed has Blizzard. This is going to be so close. Now, the only way the opponent could really win right here, which I don't see being possible, is catching the Blizzard. Oh, they tried to. They tried to, but they were anticipating that and able to throw the Weather Ball now. Oh, man, you saw it. The Wind Con was catching the Blizzard, but thankfully Politoed was able to hang on, not throw it right away, and make sure to throw the Weather Ball there versus the Swampert, as Blizzard now is going to come through and boom, nearly one-shots. And remember, there is still that Gyarados in the back with Dragon Breath, so that is going to be a good game, very well played, as they will swap into it and fast move down. Oh, what a beautiful play right there. Both battlers knowing their win cons and what needs to happen, and they both executed at the exact same time. But thankfully, the person who has the energy is always in the advantage. Really, it's up to the person trying to catch the charge move to time it correctly, which is always hard to do. So now we see a Walrein versus Lapras here on the lead. Earthquake versus Skull Bash. And this is actually going to be, I mean, I'm going to guess there is a, well, no, that'd be the Premier Cup would have Charizard in the back. But they decided to shield right there. So that is actually a tell that maybe there is a Giratina in the back because they want to get this Lapras out of the game. I think it's the only counter maybe to Giratina altered. But we will have to see how this plays out, as Lapras can survive and get to one more Skull Bash. That is the very cool thing about Lapras with Skull Bash, is it just boosts its defense so much that it can survive very hard-hitting charge moves like we've seen before, and it still hits like a truck. So here comes the Skull Bash, and it gets 2 shields, so we will see the swap out into Politoed, and once... Oh, man! A Trevenant is coming in. It's about to catch this snowstorm. Woo-wee! Here we go. We're going to see a no-shield here on the Seed Bomb, and now Politoed is going to unleash the Blizzard. This is going to do so much damage. Watch your earbuds. Boom! One-shots the Trevenant. In comes the Walrein, and now they just need to do as much chip damage as possible with these Weather Balls so that Gyarados can look for a sweep. And I wonder if it's going to be a Swampert in the back. So far, well, we thought it was actually going to be Giratina altered, right? So we've seen Walrein, we've seen Trevenant, and my guess is Giratina altered. But let's see what they do have in the back, as they are now forced to throw the Icicle Spear here. I'm guessing that's what's going to... They're not going to use an Earthquake. Yeah, it's just going to be Icicle Spear. So it does take out the Politoed, and we will see Gyarados now come into it. It's a matter of if they want to catch the Icicle Spear on Lapras. Oh, they caught it. Oh, man. Super Shadow number 0 catching these charge moves left and right. This is beautiful to see. Gyarados is going to go ahead and farm down, but do you give up the... No, it's only neutral damage. You got to be more concerned about the charge moves potentially in the back. What's that final Pokemon? Oh, it's going to be a Machamp. Okay, so not what I thought, but still a good situation where Aqua Tails now are going to do enough neutral damage to close this game out. So they will stop that cross chop, but Gyarados is far enough ahead on energy because of the near farm down from Walrein that they should be able to get to 2 right here. Okay, they just farmed that. They farmed down the Machamp, which is fine. And they now should... Oh, the opponent surrenders. So that is going to be a good game. Very well played. We got more. We got Lapras on the lead versus Drapion. Shadow Drapion. So let's see how this plays out. Both Pokemon do quite a bit of neutral damage to each other. But the key for this on Lapras is to not be shielding early. Why is that? Well, we're likely going to be seeing crunches come through. Whenever a crunch is thrown, there's a chance for the defenses to drop, which means if you shield early and it gets the defense drop, then the next one will hit harder. So you want to be shielding later, which is where we may see a Lapras shield right here or on the next one because they can survive. So let's see if the crunch gets the debuff. No, Oh, a Scrafty gets swapped in right there. Uh-oh. Gyarados now is going to be coming in. So this is a good situation for Gyarados where the Dragon Breath damage is just doing so much. But they need to be very careful about shielding or not shielding Foul Place. And that's why it's a dangerous thing here with Scrafty, because Foul Play does so much neutral damage that now if they want to, Scrafty could potentially double shield here and farm down with counter, which is what we might see happen. This is now probably going to be a power-up punch, and they are going to shield. No, it was another Foul Play. Okay, so able to successfully shield the Foul Play here. And now we're going to see an Aqua Tail come through. But will Scrafty give up 2 shields? They do. Okay, they're going to go ahead and swap out now into Politoed to try to get ahead on energy. And this is another situation where you really can't give up your final shield, even though you know it's going to be the Foul Play. And now they're going to go ahead and go for Weather Ball. Hopefully this is enough to take out the Scrafty. There's still a Drapion to deal with, and we don't know the third Pokemon. Oh, it's a Trevenant! Oh, this is going to be so close. They're going to be forced to shield this charge move right here. Obviously, it's going to be Seed Bomb. But the opponent might try to catch the Blizzard. Oh, another... Oh my goodness, that was so close. Just like before, when you know the charge move is coming, they swap at the perfect time for when the Blizzard should be thrown, but they were able to hold it, and Super Shadow number 0 has the patience to predict that, and boom, one-shots the Trevenant. What a good battle right there. All right, moving to the next one, we got Cresselia here on the lead. Kind of a tough lead for Lapras if this Cresselia does have Grass Knot, which is Legacy. But a lot more Cresselias I've seen as of late have Moonblast and Future Sight, because the Future Sight does well against Talonflame. This is going to be a Future Sight variant. Now, it still does a lot of neutral damage, and Lapras is not coming out of here with the lead win in the no-shield, because the Cresselia... Oh, we see a swap out now into Politoed. Interesting. We'll have to find out if this is going to be an Earthquake Politoed or a Blizzard. But ultimately, if they're just going to be Weather Balls coming through, Lapras can survive. Oh, it's an Earthquake one, and it barely hangs on! They swap out into Gyarados now. This is something you guys got to take note of. Notice what Super Shadow number 0 has been doing, and doing very well. Keeping Pokemon alive for the end game to use as that third shield, right? That sack swap to catch the charge move. They could have just let the Lapras go down right there, right? And then come in with Gyarados. But instead, the smarter call is to leave Lapras alive. You have a Surf, just in case you need that chip damage in the end game. And you have the potential to catch a charge move later on in the match. So we will probably see another no-shield here on Gyarados, as they have shown Earthquake and Weather Ball, which means there's a Talonflame comes in. Okay, so Politoed does have the potential to sweep this game. We know there's a Cresselia. Now we know there's a Talonflame, and their own Politoed is extremely low, and Gyarados is going to desperately try to get to another Aqua Tail, but they won't in time. So now it is going to be up to Politoed to close this game out, and they have Lapras to catch a charge move right here. Now they got to be very careful about the opponent swapping out, but ultimately I don't think it matters, because you want that raw neutral damage to come out, whether it's against Talonflame or if it's against Cresselia, because Cresselia still has quite a bit of health. So it's not like Lapras catching the charge move, right? With that low HP, it's still going to do a lot of damage, and they're timing these well in the middle of the Talonflame Incinerate so that they actually can't swap out, which is beautiful. So now we do see the Politoed come in to try to catch that charge move, but there wasn't one ready. And now whatever comes in is going to get locked down, and it is going to be Talonflame. So they go ahead and go for Weather Ball to take it out. And now it's just a matter of dealing with that Cresselia, which I think is low enough for a Blizzard. Yeah, should be low enough for a Blizzard right here. Now, hopefully they don't have Grass Knot Future Sight, which I wouldn't expect. No, it is going to be Moonblast, and they decided to let that go. That was so risky. They're going to go ahead and actually go for Weather Balls now to close this game out. I thought they'd try to go for the Blizzard Boom, but ultimately I don't know if it's going to be enough damage. Yeah, 2 Weather Balls should do it, which means Blizzard should have been enough damage as well, considering it's neutral. So that is going to be a good game. Very well played right there. All right, this is a long video. Next battle, we got Muck on the lead right here. Alolan Muck. Let's see if it's Poison Jab. Looks to be Poison Jab right there, so not Snarl. And again, similar to that Drapion matchup on the lead, you just want to apply a lot of pressure early. Now, in this situation, Alolan Muck doesn't have access to Crunch. It's got Dark Pulse, and this could be Acid Spray, to be fair. No, you typically runs with Dark Pulse and Sludge Wave, but sometimes Poison Jab Alolan Mucks will run the Acid Spray for the Shield Bait potential and the debuff as well. So they do get a shield, which is exactly what we thought was going to happen in that Drapion matchup, where they just get shield pressure early. Now the opponent decides to swap out into Scrafty. So now they can swap into their own Gyarados right away. And this is a much better matchup. So they save, again, they save that Lapras. This is so key for this team. And they keep the Gyarados fresh on energy against Scrafty. Scrafty wasn't able to load up a lot of energy, and they are at a 2-to-1 shield advantage, which means they can safely shield this charge move if they want to. Yeah, they're going to go ahead and shield and probably be able to commit to the farm down. So the Dragon Breath, yeah, they should be able to farm down right here, which is perfect. So now they're in a 1-to-1 shields. We will see the Muck come in, and they're going to go ahead and shield up the Gyarados because maybe it's another fighter in the back. As they stop that Dark Pulse, they Dragon Breath down. Final Pokemon is going to be a Trevenant. Beautiful. They can apply a lot of pressure here with Crunch, but they're going to go ahead and go for the Aqua Tail. The win con for them is definitely getting the Shield Bait right here. If they can get it, perfect. That means they can now go for the Crunch, but no, Trevenant is able to get to, I'm guessing, the Seed Bomb here. It is the Seed Bomb, and it is enough damage to take out. Oh, man. Okay, so they got to catch the charge move right here, potentially. Hey, no, they just go straight for the Blizzard, and they are able to get to it in time. I thought Lapras was going to be a key to catch the charge move, but no, Politoed, boom, one-shots the Trevenant. All right, good games. I think that might have been the final one. Let's see. That was the final battle. So we'll go ahead and rewind this right here so we can see Super Shadow again. Huge congrats, Super Shadow. They said they used this last season, I believe, to hit Legend, going 45-5, and they are destroying this season with it, and asked me to hold off on showcasing the video until today. So huge thank you to Super Shadow number 0 for sharing this triple water team with us. Lapras, Gyarados, and Politoed, all shadows, and very, very good gameplay. We saw it go toe-to-toe against Registeels. We saw it go toe-to-toe against Magnetons, like Pokemon you would otherwise think destroy this whole team. They were able to handle, and it relied on sack swaps by keeping Lapras alive, and Gyarados sweeps or Politoed sweeps depending on the team formation. So hope you guys enjoyed today's video, and like always, thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next one.